Welcome to the Blue Chair Podcast by the North American Division Children's Ministry. We are so glad you are here today. This podcast is created for children's ministry leaders, teachers, parents, and anyone who has a heart to serve children through ministry. Join Sherri and Gerry Lopez in the Blue Chair.
Welcome once again to the Blue Chair Podcast. I'm here with...
Oh, hey, Sherri here. Sorry about that. I was not paying attention, Gerry. So,
That's
yes.
all right. And I'm Gerry, of course, and I'm Gerry. And
glad to be
we're
here.
here, and we have, in the Blue Chair today, we're going to be talking about summer and summer ideas for evangelism, children evangelism, right?
Right. And that's why we wore our red Converse shoes
That's
today.
right. I like my red Converse.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
feel good. They feel good. But Sherri, how are you doing now?
I am doing well. I'll tell you what, it is so warm here in Maryland. It is. The other day, it was so humid, I thought we could just almost cut the air. It was almost like Louisiana.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I went outside and I was like, oh, man, I got to catch my breath in all of this.
I know, we're so spoiled, aren't we?
We really are.
With the air conditioning.
We really are. And let me ask you a question, Sherri, really quick. It just came to my mind. You know, I have some calla lilies right there in the front yard of my house. And they're growing, you know, I have a yellow one and purple one and what other colors? I have like 3 other colors.
Probably like a nice deep red one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to put them in like a vase.
Yeah.
Can I cut them now? And
You sure can.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. And though, you know, Terry, you really need to download that plant app so that you can just
I did.
do it. Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Good.
but I never.
You haven't used it yet.
I haven't used it yet on those. I haven't yet, but
Yeah.
But there's no doubt that it's summertime.
Oh,
It's summertime,
is,
and
yeah.
you know, we are going to. I think this series that we have for these, you know, next 4 episodes, we're going to really talk about some good stuff for summer and children evangelism, right?
That's right. Yeah, summer evangelism. So those of you that are listening, get on your tennis shoes because, boy, we're just going to really run through this and have fun during this summertime.
Absolutely. I just want to remind everyone that we ask you to like, to subscribe, and to make sure to share, right?
Absolutely, to share. We'd like for our message to go out to everybody. We have some things that I think are worth sharing, so let's share it.
Absolutely. So make sure that you go onto Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts.
Amazon.
We're on the Amazon Podcast. And, of course, on Podbean as well. And you
right.
can listen to it. As you listen, like it, tell others about it. And we hope that these topics you're going to enjoy.
That's right. You know, we're all about children's ministry, children, and what do we teach our children? To share.
Share.
So please share.
Definitely. Please make sure to share. Absolutely. So I'm excited. I'm excited about these topics that we have, especially today. Park
Yeah.
evangelism. I don't think I've ever done park evangelism. At least I don't think I have.
Well, I wonder though, Gerry, if you really have and just didn't realize it.
Oh.
Because I know your church is really big about going out to the campground together and you're all there intergenerationally, children and adults, and you probably did something with the kids.
Well, you know, you're right. You're
And,
absolutely correct. You know, we had something called a Super Sabbath, and we did it at camp, at our
Right.
campground over there for our church. It was a whole Sabbath, and we had the Sabbath school
That's right.
there. But it turned out to be, you know, crafts and everything. They had stations.
Yeah.
Our Pathfinders
so
helped us
fun.
out.
Yeah, I bet your kids had a lot of fun
Oh,
doing
they
that.
really enjoy. So does that kind of count?
Absolutely that
Well,
counts.
look at
Oh
that,
my
then.
goodness.
Then
Yeah.
Sherri, I've done it.
Yeah. You know, in years past, we did park evangelism at our church. And I think it was 3 years in a row that we actually had our vacation Bible school at the park.
Oh.
And it was so fun to be at the park. We didn't have to decorate or anything. We had to make sure that there was sound for the music, but we picked the 3 best thing that kids love, which is food.
Of course.
We had some good snacks. We had games.
Okay, that's always fun.
We had story time.
Okay,
and,
they love
and
that.
we had crafts. And so, yeah, what could be better than that? And
Okay.
beforehand, then we went out to the neighborhood and just invited all the kids to come in. We had a great time. It was just so fun. And we probably wore our tennis shoes and maybe some shorts because it was hot as blazes out there too.
I'm sure it's summertime.
Yeah.
It's summertime.
Yeah.
And Sherry, that always takes me when we talk about evangelism. We have to kind of mention the Great Commission, right?
Yeah.
What did Jesus leave for us? And so in Matthew 28, in that section, starting in 16, right, the disciples, all his disciples, were there in the mountain where Jesus told them to go. And so they saw him and they worshiped him, it says, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them in verse 18, and it says, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. Therefore, he said, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to every end of the age. So Park Evangelism, we understand he's there with us.
He is.
As we go.
That is such a beautiful verse, and I'm glad that you read that because it says Jesus told his disciples, which we take, this is to us too. It's our commission. Right. And I once heard somebody say, it is the Great Commission, not the Great Omission of children.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So kid-to-kid evangelism is the best because, it's all like dominoes. One child will tell another child who tells another child, and all of a sudden you've got this whole great big group of children. So we can't leave out our children in the Great Commission.
It's very true. Absolutely agree with you 100%. You were telling me, I don't know, that you heard some story.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, I read the best story. And it's from Pastor Tim Wilson, who's the lead pastor at South Harbor Church in Michigan. He told this story. So it's not my story at all, but he told the story like this. So the story is about a special car, and this car.
You got my
I know
attention on this one.
I know I do. And this car had been a dream come true for its new owners. And what they had done, the husband and wife, they bought this car. They ordered it.
Oh.
Brand spanking new.
Ooh.
They ordered it, and in fact, what the owner did was built a very special garage just for this car. Okay. I mean, that's how special it was. Wow. And so on the day it was delivered, so you've seen cars being delivered on the back of these big trucks.
I've never experienced it, but I've seen it, and I wish I could experience that. But yeah, okay.
They rolled it off of the big truck, rolled it into the garage, and that's where it stayed.
Oh, really?
Was in the garage.
Wait,
yes.
It stayed there.
That's it. But that's not the best part of the story.
Okay.
The best, and this next part, the owner and his wife would go out and they would sit in the car periodically and just smell the new car smell, and maybe they'd even turn it on a little bit. They would enjoy the car.
Huh.
And then after a few minutes, they'd turn it off, get out very carefully, close the doors, and they would leave the garage. And that's exactly where it stayed.
Okay. I'm curious.
So it was never put into gear to go back out of the garage or even to go forward. The wheels had never touched pavement.
What?
I know. Can you imagine?
What?
Can you imagine? The motor never got to roar, brum, roar the way it was built to do. When the owner died. Okay, here we're coming to the best part.
Okay, wait. So
no, except that that's not the best part. The owner dying.
Right. But the car. So all this time, the car is in the garage. They just turn it on. In the garage. They rev it up a little bit. They turn it off. Close the doors carefully. Close the garage and leave.
That's right.
For all these years.
That's it. You've got it. Now you've got the image in your mind. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
You've got it. So when the owner died, the wife decided to sell the car. And so the person who bought the car was completely astonished and amazed because when they sat in the car, it was obvious by the mileage thing. I forgot what that's called.
Yeah, the odometer.
Yes, that it had not ever been driven.
Oh my goodness.
And when he sat there, he was just so amazed that this car, which was made for cruising on the road, had never left the garage. Wow. Never been on the garage.
Wow, that is so the car stayed in the garage all this time, probably had, I don't know, 10 miles on it the whole time.
The whole time. It never, ever.
They never took a cruise?
Never took a cruise, which is the whole purpose of the car, and the whole reason it was created was to be a cruiser, a car.
Huh. Wow.
So Pastor Tim's whole point of the story is that you can't keep yourself in the garage. You were not created just to stay in the garage.
Oh, wow.
You were created to get out, get your Converse tennis shoes on, and get out there and trample the roads and run to different places. You were created to share his message, like you said, in the Great Commission.
Wow. So so when we don't take advantage of that, we're just parked in the garage.
Yeah.
We rev up a little bit and, probably put the windows down, put the windows back up, and that's it.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're made for.
That is not. And so when I heard this story, I thought immediately of our movement, Say Yes to Jesus. The hashtag, Say Yes to Jesus. We want our kids out there. We want to give them the tools they need. We want them, the rubber on the bottom of their tennis shoes, to be dirty. They have been out and running around. Pastor Tim also shared the definition for outreach, which is beautiful.
Well, I want to hear what he says.
The definition of outreach is the practice of visiting people, tall or short, where they live or where they spend their time, like in the park, in order to share the good news of Jesus Christ through serving and building relationships.
So it's not saying, you go to the park and you hand out books or you tell people, hey, you have to go to church.
No. Unless that's, no. I was going to say unless that's how you build relationships, but mostly.
It's about relationships.
It's about relationship.
Talking, getting to know people there.
Yeah, and to build a relationship with a child, you first need to, of course, build the relationship with the parent. I mean, we want this to be a safe environment.
Yes.
Build the relationship with the parent, then you can take the child's heart and talk about Jesus.
Well, that's what Jesus' method was about. Is he built relationships with not only the adults, but with the children as well. He built relationships with them. First, he met the need of that individual, that child, that parent. Right. Then most likely they saw from him that example of what love is and that relationship, that they wanted to know more about him.
Yeah, I can just imagine that it was joyful. Anytime the children saw Jesus, they wanted to be with him. Anytime the parents saw Jesus, they wanted their children to be blessed by him.
Yes.
He had this sense of joy all around him and love, like you were saying.
Wow.
And love.
Wow. So that's what this is all about. And having Park Evangelism is one way of doing this.
It is. That is what Park Evangelism is all about. Just going back to Pastor Tim's definition, just the part of it is visiting people where they live or where they spend their time. And so, most kids like spending their time at the park. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so you tell one child that there's going to be activities at the park, they're going to definitely tell their friends.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's not in such a formal setting as church.
Right.
It's in a public place, in a place where people spend time and are having fun, enjoying themselves, playing on the park, jungle gym and all that good stuff.
Right. Yeah, and it is all about the relationship building, and it may come to the point where the parents and family want to find out about your church.
Absolutely.
And let's go visit them at their church because they have so much fun at the park.
Absolutely.
Surely they have fun at the church too.
Oh, I agree 100%. And they'll see that Christianity is also fun
And joyful.
and joyful.
Right.
Exactly, and joyful. Growing up, my uncle used to do a lot of house-to-house evangelism after church on Sabbath. We would go, and he would invite me, and I would love to go. And yeah, let's go. And so we would go and knock on the door, and he would offer prayer to them. He would tell them that Jesus loves them. Of course, back in that day when I was younger, we would give out tracts, these little Bible tracts.
So what's
to
a
people.
track? Do you mean like a Lego track? Or well, what's a track, Gerry?
Like a Steps to Christ book.
Oh, okay, a little
or
pamphlet or something.
Yes, a
Yeah.
pamphlet or an invitation to. We're going to have an evangelism at church, an evangelist at church, and a singing group who want to invite you. That kind of stuff. And so I would go with him every Sabbath afternoon, and we would go and walk the neighborhood to do that. And I always thought that was how you did evangelism. The thing was that he would invite me to go. And I was young. I was probably 7, 8 years old. He would invite me to go, come with me. And I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, and it's still in my mind. It's still there.
He was mentoring you.
He was mentoring me. He was
Yes.
mentoring me, of course. So, but it was not only that. It's not only going door to door, but there's all other ways to do it as well, like you said.
Yeah.
Park. And we're going to talk about a couple of other ways as we go along.
Right.
But Sherry, there's also, I don't know if you're going to say something, but also there's some precautions that people need to take, right?
There
when they do
is.
these
You
outreaches.
still have to plan. And I'm a checklist person, so I have to make my checklist of things. But one of the important things to do, in fact, there's two. One is to contact your park and recreation department and make sure that you can do this at the park, or if you have to reserve or pay a fee or whatever it is, make sure that you do your due diligence there, and as well as talking to your church board and making sure that your insurance, your church insurance, covers off-site events.
Oh, that's important. Definitely.
Yeah.
There's nothing like getting to a place and you
Yeah.
realize you have to pay, or you have to make a reservation.
Or told you have to get out.
Or and all of a sudden you're there with a group, with your group of families and children and church group, and
Yeah.
guys, sorry, we have to find a different place.
I know, yeah.
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 That's
So
important.
do make sure that these things are in place. And another thing too is, of course, the way you promote it to your church, making, setting the date and promoting it so that not only the community children will be there, but your church family will be there too.
Yes, absolutely, because you want to make sure you have as many people with you as possible.
Yeah.
I like that idea. What else? What else, Sherry? Besides
Well,
that?
something that I know that you know a lot about is the background checks.
Oh, those definitely.
Making sure all the volunteers have background checks.
And from the get-go, anybody who's going to be helping out that's 18 and over in any children ministry activity should have gone through the Adventist verification.
Right.
What's it called? What's the last word of it? I always forget that last word.
Anyway,
I don't
it's
know.
background check.
AVS, yeah, background check, exactly. They need to make
Yeah.
sure that they go through that and that they're on the list in their church that they've done it.
Yeah, another thing on your checklist, if you're making a checklist, another thing to put on your checklist is to bring several cases of water with you, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 cases of water, and you can buy those little miniature bottled water because it's hot. It's hot out there, and so we don't want anybody to be dehydrated.
Yeah.
But there was one time, Gerry, that when we did Park Evangelism, our Park VBS, it rained.
Oh.
But there was a big pavilion right there in the park that we just moved right into there and just continued on, because raining in the summer, it's okay to get wet because you just dry up pretty quickly.
That's true. It might cool you down, right?
Yeah.
It might cool you down for sure. So should I make it, let's say if I plan a park evangelism activity or whatever you want to call it, right? Should I make it like church?
Oh, wow. No.
Should I make it like, should it be just fun and games?
Yeah, right. So remember that the whole point about Park Evangelism or evangelism, children's evangelism, is to nurture those relationships and to make those relationships. And so, yes, we want it to be fun. And yes, we do want the children to know Jesus too. And so having the stories there, whether it's a puppet stories, boy, that will really draw the kids.
The children love that.
And there's two things that draw the kids, puppets and if the ice cream truck is there. You hear that ice cream little noise going on, little jingle, then of course I come running, not just the kids.
I would definitely want that too. So it's not just a Sabbath activity. It could be a Sunday. It could be during the week, anytime, because it's summertime, right?
Right. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It could be just a one-day event or even once a month during the summertime. If you are going to do more than one, keep it consistent and keep your advertising out there so people will come in.
Okay.
And keeping it fun in the relationship, making sure that your volunteers are focused on getting to know the children that are there, that they are knee to knee with them and eye to eye, so that they really get to know the children and their families.
All about relationship.
Yeah.
That's so important. I love it. I'm a people person. You know me.
Yeah.
I love relationship, and when I get approached or when people talk to me, I personally love that. And I'll start a conversation. And when I lived in Puerto Rico, people are very open over there. And I could be at a grocery store standing in line, and somebody would just talk to me about something personal. I remember once I was at a grocery store, this lady had like about 20 packets of coffee that she was going to buy. And I just looked at her, and I looked at her coffee, and she looked at me and began to explain. Told me the whole story. And it had to do with her daughter, and that her daughter, she got pretty personal. Her daughter had a husband who's no good, and that's a child, and all this. And I was like, wow, that's. But then I had a conversation with that person.
Yeah.
Because it's all about relationship, and people appreciate it.
You just reminded me too when you were talking about the lady in Puerto Rico who had a basket full of coffee. Whoever she is, pray for her.
Yes.
We don't know who she is. God knows who she is. And I know this was some years ago, so a lot has happened. But, we come across those stories all the time.
It's true.
You'll come across these stories in Park Evangelism where you may hear some things that are heavy on the heart. And so continue to pray for all these people that come to the park for this event.
That definitely is important. Sherry, we're coming to the end of our time here, but this next series, we're going to touch on a couple of topics, right? We're going to talk about neighborhood evangelism.
That's right. We're going to talk about, you're right, neighborhood. So we really want you to get out of the car. Or
get the car out.
Get the car out of the garage. Right. Get the car out of the garage and make some tracks because, yes, we are going to be what did you say we're talking about again?
Neighborhood. We're going to talk about neighborhood evangelism.
I love neighborhood evangelism.
Yes, that's going to be a good one as well. That's on our next episode. And then we're going to be live. We're going to be streaming live.
I am pretty excited about that too.
I am as well. We're going to be at the Education Convention there in Phoenix, Arizona. That's right. That's going to be live. So, we have to be prepared for that. And we're going to invite some people kind of to talk with us when we're there.
So what date is that, Gerry?
That's going to be on August 8th.
August 8th. So set your calendar notice so that you can log on and see us.
Yes.
On October 8th.
Because, we come live not live, but our podcast comes on every Tuesday. So on Tuesday, it's a new episode.
Right.
And so August 8th, which is Tuesday, we're going to be live. Yeah. I'm not sure what time yet, but we'll let you know on our next episode. As we get closer, we'll let you know what time we're going to be able to do that. And then we're going to finish with, I think, one of the biggest evangelism opportunities we have.
Right.
And that is Sabbath School.
And I am so excited to be talking about Sabbath School evangelism and the new curriculum that's coming out in 2025.
Alive in Jesus.
Yes.
I cannot wait. Beautiful, beautiful program. And we're going to talk about it and discuss it and see what it has for us.
And at this podcast, you may want to go ahead and take a look at it on YouTube, because we will have the curriculum with us. And I know you can't hear us right now on this kind of a podcast, but on audio podcast. But please check out the YouTube.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're building it. We're coming to it soon. All of these will be on YouTube, so you can watch them.
That's
but
right.
we will definitely have that.
And anyway, you want to see our red Converse tennis shoes, right?
Yes, absolutely. I got mine on. You have yours on too,
I
right?
do. Yep.
Yes. We have our red ones. We're Converse, and you'll see our other colors that we have as well. But Sherri, this was a great conversation. Thank you very much. And I know that the evangelism part of everything is important. What we have to look at is relationship.
That's right. Relationship, you can go to the park and have fun, but if you don't have that relationship, you won't come back to an event. And it's so important to build that relationship without a hidden agenda.
Exactly. Oh, I'm glad you said that.
Without a hidden agenda. You're there to love the children and to tell them about Jesus.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, once again, thank you everyone for listening to the Blue Chair podcast here at the North American Division Children Ministries Department. And I'm Gerry Lopez.
Sherri Urick here.
And we can't wait to chat with you one more time in our next episode. If you enjoyed this podcast and want more content like this, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
And be sure to tune in for more conversations in the Blue Chair. Until then, this is Sherri Urick.
And this is Gerry Lopez, North American Division Children's Ministries, where # say yes to Jesus.